Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TarHillIllustrated.com, or, of course, if you are watching on our rapidly growing YouTube channel on the race for 10,000 subscribers. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and joining me from Brooklyn, New York, our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And AJ, we're here to do a quick look-ahead podcast to Selection Sunday. Obviously, Carolina's postseason run in the ACC tournament came to an end on Friday night after they lost to Virginia Tech. So next up is obviously Selection Sunday, and as the Tar Heels kind of look to see what their fate is and where they go in the NCAA tournament. So some chatter that Carolina, before the loss to Virginia Tech, might end up being a sneaking in maybe as a 7 seed after the loss, and the fashion that it did, maybe see that dropping back to, I haven't heard anything from an 8 to a 9 to a 10 seed. I don't think Carolina's a little bit better than a 10 seed after what they've done over the past couple of weeks, but 24-9 overall, 15-5 finish in the ACC. AJ, looking at some of those places that Carolina could go following the loss to Virginia Tech, and, they're won 12 out of their last 14, all that kind of in mind, what are your kind of expectations and initial thoughts going into Selection Sunday this weekend?
When you're covering a team that's really good, like a lot of the Carolina teams I've covered, or before this job, the Duke teams I covered, you kind of had an idea where they would probably start out. It's not the case with this team because they've done enough where damage to themselves where they can get sent anywhere. I mean, they can go to Portland, Oregon. They go to San Diego, which would be better than Portland. But still, it's a long flight. I also say part of what we're going to look at is, will they play the Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday games? This team would probably like to play Friday, Sunday, so they can get an extra day of rest. And especially if they have to go far away. If I'm actually looking at the schedule right now. I'm cheating a little bit, but it looks like San Diego, for example, Friday, Sunday. That would be better. If they went to Portland, that's a Thursday, Saturday. I don't think the next team wants to get on a plane Tuesday and fly to Portland, have the open media stuff and the open practice and all that junk on Wednesday, and then play a game Thursday against a team probably from out there. So my expectation, and I've been telling you this for a while, Jacob, I kind of sensed that they were going to win some games and maybe climb a little higher than what people were kind of settling on here a couple weeks ago when they were the America's Fence Center. I see them as an 8. And I think they're going to play an overseeded 9. They're going to set them up with an overseeded 9 in the first round because they want North Carolina against a 1 seed, preferably Saturday night, like 8:30 Eastern time, in a second round game. The committee can have a sense of humor, which I think they say that they never look at some of these interesting storylines that are created, but I have to think otherwise.
Yeah.
Can you see Carolina, the 8 seed, with Auburn as the 1? See a Walker Kessler North Carolina matchup in the second round. I can see that probably. And you could see Carolina playing an overseeded 9. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to throw it out there. I don't know who that would be, but they could put Carolina with Davidson in an 8-9 game.
Yeah.
So you have your first round. You do that in Greenville because Greenville's probably about in between. Greenville's probably just as far from Chapel Hill as it is from Auburn, right? So I would think that Auburn and Duke might be the high seeds that go to Greenville. So if Carolina gets a bone from the committee and doesn't have to go too far, but imagine they have to play Davidson in Greenville and then perhaps Auburn in Greenville or something like that. But I don't have any idea where they're going to go. I just think I think they're going to be 7 at the highest. And by the way, there was a lot of talk in the press room tonight before the game. I stirred up a little bit of it. I thought if they would have won, they'd beat the Hokies and beat Duke again twice in the week. I thought they could have played themselves up to a 4 seed in Greenville. But right now they're at the mercy of how things shake out. And sometimes teams will fall or move up or fall back a seed slot, depending on their conference, but also other conferences, because some of the leagues have a lot of teams in there. They try to avoid early round matchups within conferences or repeat matchups from the regular season. They want that to wait a little bit into the tournament. So I would say right now, my bet, Jacob, is going to be an 8. And goodness knows where we're going to go. The first round sites, by the way, for people, you got Buffalo. Nobody wants to go to Buffalo at any time of year, but certainly not March.
No.
Indianapolis, Fort Worth, Portland, Greenville, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, and San Diego. The regionals, by the way, are San Antonio, San Francisco, Chicago, and Philadelphia. Yeah. So nothing is all that close other than Greenville. And I don't
Pittsburgh's
think
not too bad, but I mean, it's East Coast, and that's saying a lot when you look at some of these other sites.
Well, look, Greenville wasn't supposed to have the tournament in 17. I think it was supposed to be Greensboro or Charlotte, and it moved there because some of the NCAA moved the stuff out of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
some
about
of the
that.
political stuff. And that's where Carolina started its redemption tour.
Yep.
The official launch of the redemption tour was coming from behind to beat Arkansas in the second round. And in the game after that, South Carolina beat Duke, and South Carolina ended up in the Final Four. So, I mean, if they got to Greenville, that'd be great for a lot of us, or us selfish media people. Just drive 4.5 hours, and I'd be there instead of flying across country. Yeah. I think it'd be good for the Tar Heels too, because they would have fan support, but they're going to have fan support wherever they go. I've covered them all over the country, and they always have fan support. But I think the best case scenario for this team is to play a Friday, Sunday. Hubert said after the game tonight that they were tired. It's the first time this year he really kind of admitted that they were physically tired, because I think Brendan Marks asked him a really good question. Was it more mental? Because of the last week that they had been on, building up to the overtime went over Syracuse, building up to everything that was poured into the Duke game, and then staying at a certain level and playing very, very well against an nemesis in Virginia that they've beaten twice now this year. And then Sunday night, they kind of looked like they left all that stuff behind them. They didn't have any of it. So, but Hubert said it was physical, it wasn't mental. So if it's physical, then you can get your mind right pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
You maybe have a day off and get your mind right. If it's physical, it might take a little bit more time, a lot of fluids, some shooting around. I mean, they'll have Saturday off. Probably Sunday will be a very light day where they just get a couple shots up. And then on Monday, they begin preparation for whoever they're going to open up against.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to keep this one relatively short. But so last thing I kind of want to ask you real quick, AJ, following the Virginia Tech loss, the manner in which it went down, looking at, Carolina winning 12 of their last 14 coming into it, based on that VT loss, is your expectations of what this Carolina team can do in the tournament changed at all from that? Or are you still pretty similar in what you think is going to happen for them?
Rarely do teams that are keep struggling when they get in the tournament. We see, like last year, UCLA lost their last 5 games because of the regular season.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, they turn it on. And then just because the team is hot doesn't mean they stay hot, because it's a totally the conference tournaments are great because they're sort of a snapshot of what the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's like a little treat.
But it's not even close, because everything is so different. It's a reset for most teams. Some clubs are playing a team that they don't know anything about. They're not very juiced up for it. And they're in a building that's half empty because you've got ticket distribution with a bunch of different schools, and maybe 2 teams from a different part of the country are playing somewhere. It's just not great buzz. If you haven't been to an NCAA tournament game, it's not uncommon that in the first round, especially if an early game or like a 10 o'clock game or something like that, a lot of times there's not a lot of people to build. So players have to generate their own buzz. It's so different, and everything they go through is so different. So I think it's sort of an equalizer. It's an equalizer for the teams that are hot. That kind of brings it down a little bit. And for the teams that aren't playing that well, it kind of gives them a little bit of a boost. So I don't think that what we saw tonight will have any effect on what we see next week. I think matchups are key. Staying healthy, staying out of foul trouble, and then the guys that are supposed to hit shots have to hit shots. It's basketball, man. And we'll see what kind of matchup they get. I think that they can create a lot of problems for people. Mike Young was talking tonight after the game about just how challenging it is to defend Carolina because of Brady Manning. There weren't a lot of guys like him out there. Tech had seen him 3 times. It's the 3rd time they'd seen him. So they're going to play somebody that hadn't seen him before and hadn't seen this group before. So I told you, I think Carolina's built to have some success in the postseason. We'll see. And we'll see what the matchup is, and we'll do one of these on Sunday night once the field is unveiled.
Yep.
But I think Carolina fans should be thinking 8 seed, who knows where they're going to go. And the committee would love to put them up either on Gonzaga, national TV on the 8:30 game, or I think the storyline with Kessler. They love to create those storylines.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's my projection right now at 8, one of those 2 regions.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I think that's a good projection as well. It's going to be interesting to see where the NCAA kind of matches them up. And like you said, it's still kind of interesting to see what kind of seed they end up being. But I know the Virginia Tech game might have backed them up maybe a little bit more following the performance. So good place to wrap this one up, AJ. Like AJ said, though, we will have Selection Sunday, covered. It does start at 6 p.m. on Sunday night. We'll have a podcast coming out as well on that. So make sure you guys keep it locked to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Link to our website is in the description below, and you can sign up to be a premium member for just $8.33 a month. Just click the link below, head over there, and sign up. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones for a quick NCAA Tournament Selection Sunday look ahead podcast. As always, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well so you know every single time we upload. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.